This boy was no bigger than a finger, but he was the biological son of the giant king. What's even more pitiful is the boy was born deaf and mute. Though he was a prince of this country, everyone dared to laugh at him. Every time he stepped outside, he'd get mugged. This was already the 300th time Baji had been robbed down to just his underwear. Even though everyone looked down on Baji, he was determined to become a great king. One day Baji ran outside the city to mess around. All of a sudden, he spotted a shadow monster stealing money. Baji freaked out. He was about to make a run for it when the shadow monster caught up with him. It told Baji to fork over all his cash, but Baji couldn't talk. He could only use body language to show he didn't have any money. That's when the shadow monster realized Baji was deaf and mute. But what threw Baji for a loop was that even though they were totally different species, they could communicate without any problems. This gave Baji this weird warm feeling inside. But the shadow monster pulled out a sharp sword and threatened Baji. If he didn't have any money, he'd have to strip down. So Baji took off his clothes and handed them over to the shadow monster. The shadow monster saw how innocent Baji looked. He threatened Baji to come back here tomorrow and bring more cash. Baji happily nodded and then ran back home. The next day rolled around. Baji actually showed up with money. This totally blew the shadow monster's mind. Why would someone be so happy after getting robbed? But what he didn't realize was that Baji just wanted a friend, and the shadow monster was the only creature that could actually talk to Baji. From then on, Baji would bring all kinds of treasures to the shadow monster every day. Slowly but surely, they became real friends. The shadow monster got curious about who Baji really was, so that day after Baji left, the shadow monster secretly followed him back to the kingdom. That's when it hit him this naive little guy was actually a prince. Baji also ran into his stepmother, Queen. When she saw Baji standing there naked, she was furious. She thought he was bringing shame to the kingdom. He had no business inheriting the throne.